Hey guys, Mel the Train Tutor here again with another Foamboard Ruins tutorial for you. Now this tutorial is going to be on how to do basic joins and how to fix, basic foamboard pieces together. And I know it seems a bit strange that we're doing that after we've done all the detailing on the floors and the roof supports and all that sort of stuff. Okay, but it's just the way this project's working out, so stick with it guys. Yeah, it's going to be a bit like that because the amount of work I want to do on this, yeah, it doesn't really fit into you do this and this. But anyway, let's crack on. Now what you call it, before I move on, obviously you've seen the textured floors that I did in a previous video, and I'll throw a link up to that. Yeah, I've also added some pipes in, for some what damage where the crater holes are quite deep. This one I dug out with my finger, took all the foam out because I'm going to put some water effects in there. These were just carved out as before, and then these slipped in. And the way to put these pipes in is exactly the same way as we did the guitar string for the the steel reinforcement rods in the concrete floors. Yeah, just bend it back, slide it in, you'll be absolutely fine. I'll throw a link up to that as well. Now another thing I want you to quickly notice is the walls. You notice how jaggedy they are. Yeah, in small damage and large scale, when I covered doing damage on walls, yeah, I showed you how to bevel, just the edges to get away from this sort of really stand out cardboard meeting the edges sort of cuts. Yeah, to get this more natural damage look. And all I did is extend that by just, going in, digging little rivets into it and then smoothing it off. And this literally is a matter of just carving little bits out, shaping it with your finger, smoothing it off, and just getting away any sharp points. Yeah, but as you can see, it's a great effect. Yeah, also, I've done the damage on the building fronts and that sort of stuff. So here's the one for over here. So that's where we are with this project, but let's move on with the tutorial. Now, obviously you can see that I've got this mounted on 5mm MDF, 3mm would be fine. You could even use plasticard, or at a push you could use foam card itself. And I'll cover that in a different tutorial. But it doesn't matter what base you use, okay? My suggestion to you is always put down a floor piece. Yeah, and this is so that when you put these pieces together, yeah, they've got something to buttress up to. Yeah, rather than just sitting flat on a on a piece on a base. Yeah, they've got something to actually sit next to that they can hold the rigidity, etc. And I just find it's a lot better. Now, obviously, I've pre-prepped these because of the details put in them. And all I did was worked out where they needed to be on the bases, put down something flat. For me, it's my Lego, and then put down a weight, and in this case it's Gale Force 9's basing kit. Yeah, and then just simply left it to dry, and now it's dried. You can see nice and solid, it's going nowhere. So you're going to need a couple of things to do to basically glue these parts together. Yeah, glue, obviously, pins, and you'll notice that I put them in a bit of foam board to make it easier and quicker for me in this tutorial. You don't need to do that, it's just for when I'm filming, it's easier than scrambling around. Okay, and then some tape. Okay, and I've got two tape here. I've got masking tape, or painter's tape, decorator's tape, and electrician's tape, or plastic tape. Yeah, so very quickly, shall we crack on? Now the first thing I want to do is I want to glue a piece here. Yeah, and the first one down is just a simple glue job, and what I'm going to do, give that a shake, is just run some glue down here. Doesn't need to be massive amounts because when it's pushed in, it'll fit nice and neat. And to make this a bit easier, what I've done is, do you see right there, there's a cut. Okay, that cut lines up perfectly with this edge, and I know this is going to be disguised with other stuff around it, so I'm not worried about having a cut in there. But what it means is I can just wiggle that backwards and forwards, get it so that the cut is perfectly lined on, and then that's perfect, exactly where the cut line is. Now you may turn around and say, Mel, but you've got that piece there. Yeah, and you know it's perfectly lined up, so what do you need a cut for? How do you think I got that piece there perfectly lined up? First I lined up that cut, working off the same one as that, you know, hot 1.5 inches, and then I've glued that one on using this as the guide. Okay, a little bit of warp to there, not an issue. Right, next job, okay, and that's putting on the front face. Okay, and dead simple again. It's a bit weird working around such a tall bit, but make sure you can see. All I'm going to do is I'm going to run some glue along that edge and get it into that corner, because that's where my pieces are meeting. Yeah, and then finally come on, run you git. Ah, that's it, not too much. It's a lot easier when you can actually see what you're doing, you know. Yeah, another very vital bit of kit. Yeah, damp rag, just to clean up any spills, etc. And I should do this afterwards, but I'm just, you know, wanted to point out you needed a damp rag. Right, so we've got this one. Oh. And what I'm going to do is very simply, let me come around here so you can see it better. Yeah, I'm going to get this and I'm going to put it in and give it a little wiggle. And then I'm going to bring it up. Okay. And all I'm worried about right now is the bottom and making sure that's lined up. And as soon as I'm happy that it's lined up, I get one of my pins and I go straight in. Okay, now I know I've shown you 45 degrees in the past, but in this case, I really don't want this to shuffle up and down, so a straight in pin is probably best. Also, I'm going to be taping it, but just to be sure, let's put a couple more pins in. So if you're doing it at an angle, push the pin head in. Once it's in, give it a wiggle to 45 degrees, push it through. Same with this way. Yeah, push the pin head in, turn it to 45 degrees, then push it through. It's a lot easier than trying to push them through at 45 degrees. Yeah, so that's in and that is nice and firm. Now we've got up here to deal with. So what I'm going to do is very quickly line that up in such a way that I am happy. Yeah. Get my pin again. Another 45 degree jobby. Now I need to press it in here. Can you see how that's squeezing? Yeah, so what I'm going to do is another pin. And pins are good for holding these, but if you want really tight joints and you're worried about, you know, boards warping a bit, then just reinforce them with some tape. Okay, just let me clean this corner up because I need to quickly, because I've got another piece going in there. So, tape. Right, two sorts of tape you can use, and you can see them on here. Yeah, there's my masking tape, and there's me plastic tape, me electrical tape. Ums and ahs. Right. They're both pretty damn good, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, don't use sellotape or anything like that. I do find that the masking tape does tend to peel off a bit after a little while. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that there very quickly. And then to keep the tension on here and keep these squeezed together, yeah, I'm going to pull this way, yeah, towards the piece. Yeah. And like I say, the masking tape can come off, work itself off over a little while when it's drying, but it's dirt cheap, easily available. The other issue with masking tape is it does have a tendency to sometimes grab the cardboard backing that you've got on the foam board and rip it. Yeah, which is why electrical tape is, you know, really good, because it never does that. It peels on and off perfectly fine. So we're going to do exactly the same on this one. Yeah, rip it off. Down here. And then I'm going to pull it towards the join again, yeah? So pull that in. Yeah. Now these are only basic joins, guys. I'm not worried about disguising them because I'm going to be doing more stuff on the front of the building that'll hide them anyway, but I wanted to show you how to do your basic joins. And that's the basic principle of doing the joins. And once you've done that, that's good to just sit, dry, yeah, leave it for a good couple of hours, yeah, and that will set fine. Now I've left this side overnight because I did it last night. And so very quickly, if we take the tape off, yeah, and as I take the tape off, yeah, I'm going sort of in the opposite direction to the way I put it on. And what I mean is I'm coming this way with the pull, so not to separate the pieces. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it 45 degrees. If I pull it straight on, there's a chance it'll catch this lip, okay, and it'll rip this lip off, okay. So if I pull it at 45 degrees, there's no chance of that happening, or very little. Yeah, so that's one bit off. And then if I go for the electrical tape, yeah, perfectly fine. No residue left over, no ripping. Brilliant. Then the next thing to do is remove the pins. Yeah, so take this one off, take this one off, that one, and that one. And there you have it. A nice, sturdy, clean join, nice, tight together, a real good match. Now there is one other thing I wanted to show you quickly on this side that I forgot to mention. Yeah, very quickly. Yeah, you can see the PVA sort of hanging at the bottom. Yeah, just put your nozzle in the top. And just feed it down that line. Just nice and thin. It will reduce and it won't affect anything. But what it'll do is it'll just help seal that all off. Yeah. And that's really thin and that will dry. One thing to watch though is as it gets to the bottom, sometimes it can clump up. So just get a bit of card and just scrape that away. So anyway, back to our other side. So here's our, our first joins fixed to our floor. Yeah, and like I said, they're nice sturdy joins. It's a solid build. Now we've got to do floors. Now you saw this floor in a previous tutorial. Okay, and it's going to go there. Yeah, now what I could do is just throw some glue around it. Yeah, push my pins in as you see me do with all the other walls and etc. And then, hey presto, you know, it's good to go. Yeah, but what I like to do is I like to put wall struts in. Okay, for two reasons. First off, what are wall struts? Let me just move those there. They're not needed now. Right. These are my wall struts. Okay. And all they are pieces of balsa wood. Okay, and I've shown you this in previous vids, I'm sure I have. Yeah, and basically all you do is you cut them to the right size. And the right size for me is 71 millimeters, which is just enough that when they go on, they sit roughly. They sit a carved foam board's width below the door. Yeah, so awkward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these to support my floor. Now the other added bonus of using these sort of things rather than what you got just pinning it is they sort of break up the flatness of the walls on the inside. Okay, gives you something to dry brush against, something to texture against, some shadow in there. And it's the little things like that that really make these things sort of pop out and stand up. So what I've got is I've got a baton. Le baton. Yeah, quick bit of PVA. Yeah, and all I'm going to do is wiggle this and put it in the corner. Now all these have been pre-cut to the right height. Yeah, and that's in. And then if you notice, I've just got some guides put on here. Yeah, and that's for these. So pick the right one, glue on. And what I'm going to do now is very quickly glue these on. And there you have it, guys. There are the batons glued onto place. Now, obviously, I've got another wall to put in here. Yeah, but because of the way I'm doing this tutorial, you know, I need to be able to get into the inside. There's more stuff I want to do for other little videos. So I'm going to have to go as I go, so to speak. But basically, yeah, onto those battens, the floor will fit. And when they're all the way around and nice and tight, yeah, it'll look great. So anyway, now you don't have to use balsa wood for these, by the way. You can use foam board. Just cut your bits out, your strips, and just put them on. I just wanted these because they're a bit flatter and I don't have to disguise these edges. Yeah, but feel free to use this sort of stuff to make your so there you have it, guys. That is basically the basic joins and how to put your floors and walls together. Okay, I know it's a bit ridiculous showing you like such a simple thing on a model that's come so far, but it's just the way it's worked out. All right, guys, in the next one, I believe, yeah, that we are doing interior decoration. That's going to be interesting. For those of you who want to see the outside coming on and how to disguise these corners, that's going to be coming on after interior decoration, so the video after the next video. Anyway, guys, hope you like it. If you do, obviously throw a like on it. Any comments, make sure that you throw them into the into the comments. Questions, anything really, just throw them forward. Just very quickly before I do that. And also, guys, you know, if you've liked what I've done, subscribe to the channel. But in the meantime, I've got to go and sort all these little fiddly bits. And if you notice that little bit, yeah, don't worry about it going over the hole. We'll fix that in interior decoration. All right, guys, you have a cracking day. I'm off. I've got tons to do. All the best, guys. Ta-da.